Hey folks, this is Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking, and on today's first episode of the virtual bike check, we're going to be checking out the Santa Cruz Bantam. Hey folks, this is Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking, where we talk about all kinds of cool things that have to do with mountain bikes, and of course home of the Regular Guy Mountain Biking Bike Chat Show. So we're changing the show a little bit now, and we're going to start doing virtual bike checks with people, subscribers to the channel. And the very first one we're doing with my buddy Brian over here. Brian Vaughn sent all his stuff in, and we're going to be taking a look at his Santa Cruz Bantam. So Brian, thanks for being my guinea pig over here, buddy.
Well, thanks for having me on, Gene.
Yeah, it should be pretty cool. So folks, Brian's followed the channel for a long time. He's followed all the other channels that you guys know, kind of like little circle over here. So I asked Brian to be my guinea pig because I've known him for a while now, and I'm like, you know what, he'd be a good guy to test this whole thing out on over here, and we're gonna give it a whirl. So Brian has a Santa Cruz Bantam, 2014, right?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Bought it in the summer of 2014. It's a single pivot, aluminum framed, full suspension bike from Santa Cruz. It basically was their first 650B bikes that came out. They when they released the Bronson and the 5010, they also released the Heckler and the Bantam. Mm-hmm. The Bantam is the aluminum single pivot version of the 5010.
Gotcha. I mean, dude, Santa Cruz bikes are all over the place right now. They're so freaking popular. So it's just a hot name nowadays. It's just really pretty popular. Now you bought this one from One on One. What is One on One? I don't think I'd know what is that.
It's a small bike shop in downtown Minneapolis.
Okay.
They have it's your mom and pop type shop with a coffee shop up front, and they sell. Basically, they have Ibis and Santa Cruz from a mountain bike perspective, and that's all they carry.
Gotcha. And you use this primarily for trail and cross country riding, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The trails around here are fairly flat, but we have a little mostly windy cross country type trails.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I wanted to make sure I asked people how they, and just so, folks, if you see me moving my head like this, it's because I have all of Brian's notes over here, so I know what to ask and what's going on over here. So the reason why I also like to ask how people ride the bike is because if I ask someone a question on, how the brakes work or how is the suspension working, you can take that answer in perspective in the way the person's riding. You know what I'm saying? I ended up changing the brakes on my bike because I was using it for more enduro downhill riding, but folks that were using my bike for maybe just more free ride or cross country or just other type of riding, they didn't need as much of an aggressive brake. So that's why I wanted to make sure I kind of focus in on the kind of riding that Brian's doing over here. So Brian said he picked up this bike because of cost, you wanted the full suspension, and you were into the components. Now, Santa Cruz, that's not a cheap bike. So what was this? Was this because you wanted to get a Santa Cruz bike and it fell within a cost perspective of their bikes?
So when I was looking for a full suspension bike, I wanted to be under $3,000.
Okay.
I ended up paying, I think, $2,000 for this bike.
Okay.
So the bikes I was looking at in this price range were, I think, something from Specialized, the Giant, and I found the Bantam. Mm-hmm. And really the components that I've got a Fox shock on it.
Yep.
I've got a decent fork on it. I was looking at other lower end model shocks and forks on those other bikes, and so I steered towards the Santa Cruz.
Gotcha.
I also kind of knew that I knew I was going to crash a few times. So
you wanted to get a good bike.
I wanted something that was going to hold up, and Santa Cruz frames are really renowned for how strong they are.
Right.
And I don't know if you can see on some of the pictures. There's nice little dents and scraping of the paint on. All over the place.
I talked to a lot of my friends, and some of them literally like Tony has his section on how to protect your bike, and I'm all for that. I mean, you should take care of your bike. I've got the little ends on the bottom of my cranks, so I try to take care of it. But it's not supposed to be put on a little. It's not supposed to be a shelf queen. You're supposed to beat these things up. If you're not, then you're not trying hard enough. So I'm happy to hear you got some dents on it, because you need to ride these bikes, or the bike would even be crying, saying, you know. But now let me ask you this. So folks, you've been looking at pictures of the bike so far, because Brian, I'm going to have these pictures up as we're talking. The bike's got some pretty good components, because Santa Cruz bikes in general are pretty good bikes. But you did do some upgrades on here. So let's take a look. I asked what the top upgrades are. So you went to a narrow wide. So this thing had a 2x in the front, right?
Yeah, 3x.
3x? Who has a? Oh, well, actually, 2004. Okay, all right, 3. Okay, got it.
So that was right when I think I started first hearing about the narrow wides.
Okay.
And so I think I took the 3x off like maybe a month and a half after I bought the bike, and did the conversion, and I was very happy with it.
Now, what did you do?
Never dropped a change.
What did you go with for your one by? I'm looking at the pictures over here.
It's a 32. Oh, sorry.
No. Please, go ahead. What did you use?
It's a 32 tooth race face narrow wide.
Now, I'm looking at the pictures over here. Did you just do the front cranks, or did you go with a cassette in the did you do the whole Monty over here, or what did you do?
I just took off the chain, the ring up front, so that the pedals were a 1x104 BRD, and so I found another one narrow wide that would fit that.
Okay.
So all I had to do was take those cogs up front off and get rid of the front derailleur and apply that new ring. So
that's interesting, folks. So Brian is still running a 10-speed, basically. He's got the cassette in the back. You're not running an 11, and you also, I guess, you didn't get one of those big plates to replace one of the rings on. So you're running. So what's the and wait, how big's the front ring?
32.
You got some tree trunks for legs, buddy. I mean, because really, wow, you're running a 32, and what's the back? Like maybe like a 40-something-ish?
No, I think it's actually like a 1036.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You've been doing Trainer Road, because I mean those are some serious gears you're pushing. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. No way.
So, yeah. The like I said before, the trails I'm riding here we're talking about maybe 200, 300 feet of climb.
Okay.
So we're going up, and normally a lot of times we're going up and down a lot.
Okay.
So we're carrying a lot of speed into our ups.
Okay.
So I'm not doing a lot of climbing on this. I've thought about putting on an 11 speed in the back, especially with the box components. So I kind of thought that was neat.
Yeah.
And I've also looked at the E13 just to get an idea for it. But I'm kind of waiting for the 10 speed to just kind of wear out.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I don't blame you. Well, I mean, and you also have the option of converting that 10 to keep the 10 and just get a big old plate in the back, I mean, I'm not pushing Wolf Tooth, but I really like Wolf Tooth, and I know they have some of those things as well. But a lot of companies do. I mean, E13 has ones. Was it one up? I don't know. This is one by, I forgot. There's another company out there. A lot of these companies have those just the replacement, and you take one of the first gears off, and you kind of push everything down. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, so that's. Wow. So now I can see why. Well, I'll talk about the upgrades that you want later on. I can see why that's one of the ones on the upgrades you want to have later on. You changed the brakes. What was wrong with the other brakes?
So the Avids I had were just too spongy.
Okay.
And I still am not like 100% happy with the XTs. I think the stopping power is great. I really like having them both in sync. When they pinch down, I want them to both come out into the same spot. And
gotcha.
So I'm kind of picky with the brakes, but I just replaced those last summer, and I had it. I bled. I had to send them in at least once a year. I was getting them bled, and I think I had I know I've had to have the back calipers. One of them just stopped moving. Yeah. So I had that be rebuilt, and serviced, and then it happened again, and so I was like, let's just go. And
it happened with the Avids.
With the Avids,
okay,
yeah.
Got it.
So when the second time it happened with the Avids, I was like, done with the Avids. Let's just go to the
Gotcha.
XDs.
And I see the dropper post on it. Now, I love seeing that one because this. So folks, the dropper post was one of the upgrades that I kind of was with Brian with, because he's like, man, I really want, because Brian Kennedy, BKXC, we had done a dropper, bike chat, and Brian Vaughn was, we're talking about, I've been thinking about getting one, and so this is like kind of like I lived through this one with you over here, and so tell us about your dropper post, and what was the final thing that you basically said, I just got to get this thing done.
I had a ride, and I was, there's this one trail that has a few different drops in it, and I was trying to get in the back seat and got my shorts caught
Doesn't
on the
that
seat.
suck? It always sucks.
And I crashed. So that was kind of the final straw.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to go buy one, and I put one over the holidays and installed it. It's a Fox transfer, external routing because of the I don't have internal routing on this bike. It's too old.
Tell me about the lever, though. We talked about this a little bit. This I didn't realize. So you buy the lever separately. You pick what you want. How does that work? So
when you buy the dropper from Fox, it doesn't come with a lever.
Okay,
so it's one of the reasons
that.
if you look at the pricing on their Fox stuff, Fox's stuff is always is like $60 or so less than most of the other stuff, and it's because the lever is an additional. You buy it as an add-on, and it's mechanical, so you can buy whatever lever you want. They have the 1x lever that I'm using. They also have the 2x version as well, where it's closer to what the old RockShox. What their dropper looked like.
2x meaning it can fit with a shifter in the front. Okay.
It goes straight down.
Okay, like a plunger.
Plunger, exactly.
Gotcha.
But you could use whatever you wanted. If you like some other lever, you could go there with the wolf tooth, or you could go with something else.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's pretty cool that they have that option then, because I'd rather I like the wolf tooth one. I mean that worked out well for me. So. You go with what you want. That's cool. All right. So upgrades that you want to do on this bike. What are you looking at to do? Because here's one of the things. Santa Cruz bike, you kind of buy that for a while. Like, these are good quality bikes, So you're in it for a little bit now. You're kind of married to this thing. So you've done some upgrades so far, and actually these are the only top ones you listed. I've seen the pictures. You've done some other nice things as well to this thing. I like what you did with the grips and the seat and everything like that. I've been looking into that brand. Argo? Ergon.
Yep.
I like their stuff. So Brian's been blinging this bike up, besides just those upgrades that we talked about so far. But what are your top ones you want to do to this bike, and why would you do these upgrades?
Okay, so the wheels are the one I'm looking at right now.
Okay.
The current wheels, I just put new meat on the tires, and so I decided, hey, let's weigh the wheels and see how much they weigh.
Yeah, smart.
And it's about I think a little over 2,000 grams.
Okay.
Between the two, so they're fairly heavy. I'm looking at trying to find something a little bit lighter, just help with the rollings.
Will you go carbon or look for like later aluminum?
No, I'll go for aluminum.
Yeah.
So not being a boost bike, I'm not going to touch carbon right now.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess if you're going to do it and commit to it, you're going to do it for the one. Yeah. I've heard nothing but good things about Boost, where it really stiffens up the back, and if you're going to do it, that makes a lot of sense. You might as well buy a set of wheels that are going to last for a while. Like not like the other ones are going to break, but last the style frame you might go into, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, originally I was thinking of, before Boost came out, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was going to save up for some carbon wheels and then eventually upgrade the frame if I wanted to, and just keep the wheels.
But now you can't.
But now I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. All right. So you got. Now we know why he has cassette on the list. That just makes sense.
Yep.
But cassette would also mean derailleur, right? Because
Yes.
if you're going to get a cassette, you're going to go with 11 speed. So then you're going to go and get yourself maybe one of the box ones. Or whatever. Now, if I want to demo one of the box, and I was looking to reach out to those guys, but I'm not sure if I want to. Not because I don't think the product's good, but I've got a lot of bikes, and I don't know if I could switch the way it works from one bike. Like all my bikes are all SRAM, so it all feels the same. So I'm curious, like, same thing, for folks that are watching this right now, do you have bikes with different shifter, like right? I mean, this is your primary bike, so if you switched it, you wouldn't care, right?
Yeah, my other bike is my original mountain bike.
That's the one your trainer.
Yeah.
Right.
Which has grip shifters.
Yeah.
Which are awful. But I bought it. I didn't exactly. I didn't know any better, and and I love it because it's old. It's so old. They barely changed. Like I keep revving them.
Well, that's the one that's on your trainer one. I'll make sure I link to your trainer video on this one. Brian has a video where he shows all his gear he's using for his indoor bike trainer to get ready for BKXC's big event coming up. So you're gonna have some muscles you're gonna be doing that. That's great, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
And what's wrong with the handlebars? You want to upgrade your handlebars? What's up?
They're 720.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of going wider. Actually, a spot where I might go carbon. I'm 6'1".
Okay.
I'm
a tall guy.
I'm a 46, jacket. So I think the wider bars might be good. Where I ride right now, for the most part, there's only one spot. Well, there's one course that I'm a little concerned about. I still nick the trees on occasion with the 720s.
Oh, okay.
So we have a lot of. I call it. It's kind of like it's like doing slalom racing when you ride there, because
Gotcha.
you see the trees all have the marks, but it's there's a couple spots where I've been flung. I have a couple good accidents been from hitting my handlebars.
That's not fun.
Place. Yeah.
Now, what don't you like about the bike? There's got to be maybe something. What do you got over here? Is there anything you don't like about this particular bike? The geometry and the reach. What do you mean by that?
So, okay. So I'm 6'1", so
Okay.
I fall right between a large and a extra large.
Oh, okay.
And in the past, extra large has always felt really too much reach, where I'm really reaching forward. And Santa Cruz, like the year, I think it was in 2015, they redid their geometry on a lot of their bikes, and they added more reach to the bike.
Gotcha.
So like right now, when I ride the bike and I'm in the attack position, I tend to, if anything, if I get a little bit too forward.
Okay.
And so I'm a little over the bike and not in the bike when I'm going down. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit skittish when I'm going downhill.
Okay. But that's a tough one because, like you said, I mean, you fall right between the sizing, I mean, you can only manipulate the stem length and bars so much and do some things, but at some point you just can't get it in anymore. I mean, that's got it. All right. Yeah. Well, look, we're getting pretty close to the end over here. We found out a lot about the bike. We learned about some of Brian's upgrades. You like the bike, right? You are happy that you bought this particular bike.
Yeah, I am really happy with it. It's been pretty solid.
All right.
I've beaten it up, and it keeps coming back.
So for people that are interested in this bike, because it's a 2014, but you know what? Santa Cruz bikes hold their value, and it's a good bike. So for someone that wants to get into riding and maybe want to get this used, or something like that, what kind of rider would like a bike like this? Obviously, you'd recommend it. I mean, you like the bike, but for the particular person that would want to get this kind of bike, who would you place this in for?
Yeah, I would say anyone who's really interested in just doing trail riding, not really looking for the enduro downhill stuff, but really just going out and enjoying the ups and the downs.
Gotcha.
Not too aggressive riding, but it's pretty. I would say it's pretty solid for the person who's really just mostly the average trail out there.
Trail, cross country and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, cool. This was our first ever virtual bike check. I couldn't have picked a better person, my buddy Brian over here. Thanks so much for going through that. I think it went pretty smooth, right? I mean, so far, I guess we'll find out from the comments, right? And people are going to say, no, you should have asked him this or whatever. So we'll find out how it goes. But I think it went pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. And thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. This was cool. Yeah. So folks, as always, thank you for watching the show. there's a little button to subscribe, so click on that button. And there's some other videos that you can check out over here, so check those out. And big thanks to Brian. Thank you again, my friend. And you know how it works. Keep the party on the pedals, everybody. And we will catch you later on. Take it easy, everyone.
All right, cool. Thanks.